Hi, I'm back with another video, and this time it's recapping February, March, and April. I wanted to do this, and I was trying to do February and March, but for whatever reason, you know how it's like things just don't sound right and things don't come out right. That's what happened with February and March. I was going to do February's, but then February came and went, and I was like, oh well, I'll just do it when I do March's, and then all of a sudden March just came and went, and you know how those things go. And so I decided to go ahead and just try and recap as much as I can remember. So it'll be kind of probably mixing in between. So like February, I think I've mentioned that we've had some male persons that, our mailman persons have changed. I think it's now up to 3 or 4 guys later. My mom used to say she thought we were the training facility neighborhood for training the guys, because all of a sudden we have a male person, then the male person disappears. Then we get, like 1 week it'll be a man, next week it'll be a woman. We'll have one be here for 6 months, a year, 5 years, and then all of a sudden they change them. Ooh, excuse me, I'm so sorry. And that's what, happened. I'm thinking happened because back in February, when, I don't know if I told the story about the mailman. He had came by, and I noticed that he had dropped off the mail, and I thought, oh, he's just stopped outside the house to, situate the mail for the next person, or to make sure he got all the mail done, through here. And he just sat there, and I was going to go out there and check mail. And I'm like, why is he just sitting there? I didn't think anything about it, and went out there and found out he had a flat tire. And I was like, I wondered why he was there. And then I was talking to Carol, and she said that, yeah, Chuck had seen it. He had gone past their house. He got to their mailbox. He went past, and all of a sudden he started yelling to him and trying to get him to, to notice. And he told him about it, and she said the guy was, of course, not happy. He said it wasn't his vehicle, that he was told he had to drive, I guess, our mail person's vehicle, and that he had wanted to drive his. And so then we just assumed he was on vacation or something. And so that guy was here for a few weeks doing that. And that day when that flat tire happened, he was stuck over here from, I think it was like 2 to like, I think 5 or something. Because he stopped off, and then about 3, someone from the mail, a mail person showed up and took, I guess, the important mail, or finished off what they could for that day. And then about 5, the tow truck person came by, and Carol was like, I'm surprised he was here for so long with the tow truck. And I said, well, I reminded her the day before it had, like, I think iced or something. And so the roads were still slippery. And so all the tow trucks the day before, I can't remember if it was the day before or that morning, they were dealing with all the, the people getting in accidents and having to be towed from stuck places. And so I was like, that's probably why it took them so long to come get him. And then we didn't realize he was still in the vehicle. And so they got him moved. And so, like I said, since then we've had quite a few mail people. And each one of them, they got to get used to our area. So then I've had a few of them have to turn around, come back, and bring me something, because like there was like a couple of books that one of them he brought me back, and then there was something else, Walgreens. I ordered something from Walgreens, and I want to say it was March or April, and it said it was supposed to be delivered that day, and I was like, well, maybe they didn't get it. And so I was gonna come inside and check the tracking, because I was like, I thought it was supposed to be today with the mail. And all of a sudden I heard the noise and looked out, and he had turned around, came back. So I went out there and got it, and I'm like, it was the Walgreens. And then, like I said, there were a couple of books that I had one that, like 1 or 2 of them have had to come back and bring me, because they forgot to deliver it. And so that's been kind of interesting, having the new mail people. And then I'm not sure how we're going to fix the porch. I know I said in a video we're talking about fixing the porch, but I'm not sure how we're going to do that, because we've already looked at it and we're not quite sure how we're going to do that. And then I can't remember if I said it in February. We had, I think when I said about the porch, about the tornadoes that came through. And then let's see, we had those record-breaking tornadoes for February. And then I got to redeem my very first book for Bookish First. And then March, was a huge fire was near, not that far away from us. We heard the fire trucks, they always go through here, and we didn't think anything about it. It was like heard one, didn't think anything about it, and then I think I heard a second one, still didn't think anything about it. And then we kept hearing them, and we kept hearing all kinds of fire trucks, and we're like, what is going on? And finally, saw the smoke and started looking to see if we could find any alerts. And there was nothing on the TV, there was nothing on my phone. And when they finally did start talking about it, it was another fire that was going on. And then all of a sudden they broke from that fire because I guess they determined it wasn't as, it was a big deal, but it wasn't as bad as what was going on over here where we were. All of a sudden they were sending the helicopters this way because they found out this one was worse. And so they spent quite a few hours over this way trying to block everything, trying to keep everybody from going in, and they were letting the people out of there, trying to get people to evacuate and get them out of there, and like I said, not letting people in, and they were holding off on school buses that day because of not knowing if they could get the kids in with all the fires going on. And then so there was traffic all over the place because they had everything backed up from like the highways and all the streets around us. And so there was a lot of traffic, and they were diverting and trying to find different places. So they spent a lot of time on the news over in this area, showing the firefighters and all the police and stuff, trying to avert everybody to different locations and trying to help everybody. And then that fire that was going on, the first fire, they were trying to fix that, and so they were worrying about that one too going on and trying to get everybody away from that highway and area. And then I think there might have been a third one. I can't remember. Was there a third one? I forget how many fires they determined were going on that day, but it was a lot of fires. And ours was like the biggest one. And so we were trying to figure out where it was, and because like I said, we could see the smoke, and then we recognized the area. And so we were all kind of watching the TV, watching our phones, trying to determine if we needed to evacuate. And so they kept reminding everybody, if you see the smoke getting, darker and all that stuff, it means, you need to get out of there. That it's a big deal. And so we spent that night worrying about the fires, and of course everybody, all the damage and stuff. And then we knew people. And so since then they've had like off and on, I don't know if they still do, but they had Red Cross over here for a while, helping people and telling people where to go if they needed to get help, and churches were opening up to help people. And I don't think we knew anybody whose places were damaged or anything like that, but we knew people who were in that area. And then of course, like I said, we knew the area, so that was pretty scary. And then April, let's see, April started out, our water, our sinks were, the sink in the kitchen wasn't draining right, so I had to call the plumbing people. Yeah, back when my mom was alive, she used to say we needed to have the whoever come in and drain out the drains, fix that. And so my mom never knew who to call. And then 4 years ago, we had to call someone to get help for that. And so my mom never got to see us do that. But so the guy came out and he fixed it, and they gave the disclaimer on it working or not working and that kind of thing. And so when it started acting up again, I had to call him that Saturday, and make an appointment. And they were like, is it an emergency? I said, kind of not. And then the lady was like, well, there's like a whole bunch of other people ahead of us on Saturday. So I was like, Sunday was fine. And so the guy came out on Sunday. I told him it had been 4 years since we had to do it the first time. And he's like, oh, it's lasted that long. And so it's still kind of messed up a little bit. I think there's something we need to fix. And so that may be something that takes some time to figure out how to do. And so it's draining, it's just not draining like it should be moment. So it's kind of interesting on that. It's like one of those when it rains, it pours moment. And then my email, of course, has been acting up, so I gotta get that fixed soon because I'm having issues with that. And then, of course, we had our computer. I need to get that done. It started giving issues a while back. I need to call the computer people I talked to, see if they can fix it, or if I just need to get a new computer. I had bought a computer, and the reviews for it were good. Both computers I was looking at, the reviews were good. I found out that both of them had like all the stuff built into it, like the tower and all that. and that the one I got you could use as you could use with a keyboard and a mouse or not. You could just do it without it. And so I really liked that it had the option of both, using it with or without. And then it was all built in, so you didn't have to worry about the tower and all that. And they said it was supposed to be easier to carry, easier to move, easier to put together. You could move it from any room you needed to because it was supposed to be easy to put together, easy to move, not that heavy. And so I was like, oh, that's good. And so all the reviews for both of them were good, but I chose that one. And then I went to look at the reviews, and since then I found out that a lot of people have been having issues with that computer. And so people were talking about how they just went out and got a new one. And so I was like, oh, great. Because the other one, people were talking about, some of them were saying that they were missing parts, and I just didn't want to have to figure out how to fix that part myself. Because I remember one year we got a computer during Black Friday, and we got it home. My mom put it together, started it up, and it wouldn't do anything. And she called the computer people, and they were like, oh, you need to open up the back of it, pull out whatever, and I forget what they said you needed to do. And my mom was like, okay. She got off the phone, she unplugged it, she put it all back in the box and said, I'm taking it to Walmart. And we took it back and got another one and thought we were going to have to do the same thing with the new one. And it ended up working. And so I was like, I do not want to have to put something back together. So I got this one, so I may have to get a new computer. So I have to remember, I've been thinking about, I need to call them and ask them and see what they can say, if they can fix it or if it's something that requires a new computer. Because I tried to do what everybody said online, and it's not working for me. I'm not computer savvy like that. And then, let's see, so my email's acting up, the computer. Then we had another round of tornadoes in April. It wasn't record breaking, but there was quite a bit of tornadoes that ended up being very bad. That were like, we kept watching all night to make sure they weren't heading towards us. Because at one point it looked like they were coming towards us. And so that was scary. And then, what else? Oh, I did my very first eBay purchase. I'll be doing a video. I've done a video. I'll be posting that soon. I did my very first eBay purchase. It's funny, as my mom used to sell on eBay. She used to buy on eBay. My brother used to bid and win on eBay. My dad's bought on eBay. But I've never bought on eBay. And so I was like, oh, my very first purchase. So I'm super excited about that. Like I said, I got a video coming out soon about that. And I'm currently waiting on another package from someplace else. I've won 2 more books from Goodreads, so I'm up to, I think, 7 books I've won on Goodreads. I have a book that I forgot. Well, I'm not gonna say I forgot. I put my name in for one of those you could win, or you were giving away for free to 5 people, 50 people, 100 people. And so I didn't think anything about it because they never tell you if you got it. And so that was one of the envelopes that the mailman had to turn around and come back and bring me. And I was like, I thought it was what I was waiting on, the package. And I was like, they put my stuff in an envelope. And then I got it inside and I opened it and it was a book. And I'm like, oh. And then I flipped it around and read the name of it. I'm like, oh, it was a publishing company. I did not know I'd gotten that book. So I'm really excited about that. I can't wait to read my one that I redeemed from Bookish First. I'm kind of holding off on it because it doesn't come out until August. And so I'm kind of like, I want to hold off on reading it and then reviewing it closer to August. That way, everybody has a chance that if wants to read it, doing it closer to August. And then I'm almost to the point where I'm 500 points away from being able to redeem again for a Bookish First book if I ever find, if there's another one I want. They have, I'm currently in the running for one of the raffles. They have I think they have 3 more books that are coming up soon in the next, I think one's in the next 12 days or something, one's in the next 2 days. I think there's another one in the next 8 days or something. I forget how many days they have on there. And so that'll get me 300 more points. And if I won the next raffle, if I won this raffle I'm currently in, that could give me 400 points, and so I could end up with just needing one more 100 points and just, choosing a book then. But so far, because I'm getting close to being able to redeem another one, so I'm super excited about that one.